Hello everybody, Mr. Mobs here. Welcome back to the channel. So yesterday I posted a video showing the unboxing of the Pico 4 Ultra, and I did a bit of a side-by-side comparison between that and the Quest 3. So since then, I have been able to get a bit of hands-on time actually playing with the Pico 4 Ultra. So I can give you my personal opinions on how it plays, how it looks, and then again I will compare it to the Quest 3 because that's my kind of daily driver as far as VR headsets go, and it's probably the closest kind of competition to each other. So I hope you enjoy this video. So first of all, obviously got the Pico 4 set up, nice and easy, probably because I've already got an account for Pico because I used to own the original Pico 4. So setting up the Ultra was fairly straightforward. Just turn it on. Didn't have to do very much. Select my language and stuff. It actually starts. It lets you start using it without a login. So I was able to go onto like the home screen and use the UI and stuff without actually being logged in. So that was interesting. I don't think Meta allows you to do that. I think you have to link it to the app straight away before you can even access anything on there. So I don't know when it comes to usage. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to um, buy any games and stuff like that, but you might be able to have kind of minimal usage of this without having to have an account, which is interesting. But anyway, so put it on, turned it on. Now, like I said in my previous video, but for those of you who haven't watched it, the lenses in this are the same as the lenses in the Pico 4. So they are pancake lenses, but they're the same. They haven't made any kind of advancements on the lenses. They're exactly the same as they were in the Pico 4. The screens are different and all the rest are different, but the lenses itself are the same. And it does show. So putting it on, there was the sweet spot was a lot smaller than in the Quest 3. You can see with the Quest 3, it's very edge to edge, so there's kind of no or very little blur around the outside compared to the Pico 4 Ultra, which I found that there was a blur around the edges. I measured my IPD. It's got a mechanical IPD, which is quite good compared to the manual IPD on the Quest 3. So it's not an auto one because it hasn't got eye tracking, but it has got a mechanical one. So I set my IPD, but still the sweet spot on the Pico 4 Ultra um, isn't it isn't as big. So it's you got to get it kind of a bit more adjusted on your head. Um, so that was probably the first thing I noticed. The field of view on the Pico 4 is better. The binocular overlap is better. Um, not by well, the binocular overlap is definitely better on this by quite a bit compared to the Quest, in my opinion. The field of view is not a massive difference, but it is a difference. So I prefer the Pico 4 Ultra for that. Um, I'll probably just keep calling it the Pico 4, but I'm talking about the Ultra. Okay. Um, so yeah, field of view, really like that on there. Comfort wise, once I'd adjusted the top strap and got it sat on my head, comfort wise, really nice. The facial interface is a no go for me. When I had the Pico 4, I changed it to a AMVR, I think it was, which was a lot more comfortable. This one, I find it kind of digs in my cheekbones a bit here. This is a Chinese made headset, and I think our face shapes are slightly different. So this one doesn't really fit. It doesn't suit my face shape. But like I said, that's fairly easily remedied, and it comes off really easy. It's a magnetic one, so it comes off very easy. Although it doesn't come off when you're playing or anything like that, so don't worry. But yeah, okay. So comfort wise, when I put it on, facial interface no go, really didn't like that, but everything else on there is good. Nice balance. Got the battery in the back rather than the front. It has got the fan that blows into your face a little bit, I guess, until you get it kind of adjust it right. um, I am kind of mixed bag about that one because you don't really want anything blowing into your face. It's only very subtle. It's a very subtle one, but you can feel it. But it also kind of acts as a bit of a coolant and it circulates the air in here. So I've not played this long enough to kind of get fogged up, but my experience with the Pico 4, the original one, was it didn't get fogged up, and I suspect this is the same. It's got like a nice big row of vents at the top here. I actually think the thermals in this are really good, and I think playing standalone, um, you've got the with Meta they kind of underclocked the CPU because of the bad thermals. I imagine they probably haven't with this because they don't need to. And then you couple that with the fact that the battery's in the back, so there's a bit more room. And they've got the 12 gig of RAM. I think the standalone experiences would play slightly better because of that, these various factors. I don't know, can't be sure. I've not given it enough of a test to give you an honest opinion on that, but that's my thoughts on that one. So put it on the mixed reality side of things. I will put some videos up on screen, but it's not really going to give you a clear comparison, and I'll explain why in a minute. But the mixed reality, it wasn't as much as of a difference putting the Pico 4 Ultra on as I expected. I thought because of the cameras being better, I thought that there would be like quite a noticeable difference. When I first put it on, not really kind of convinced with that one. Looked at my phone. The text on my phone was clearer for sure. So that was a win there for the Pico. But looking around the room and stuff, I didn't feel like it was a massive difference to the Quest 3. Having said that, when I then a bit later on afterwards, I wanted to do a test with the microphones between the two, and I put the Quest 3 on, and then seeing the pass through with that, I actually felt it was a lot more grainy on the Quest than on the Pico. So it wasn't noticeable when I put the Pico on, but when I put the Quest 3 back on, I felt like the pass through wasn't quite as good. But again, it's marginal. It's not massive. But that's the difference. I've also looked at my keyboard. So when I was sat up here, I put the two on and I was looking at my keyboard. And one thing I noticed, which I really didn't like, and I remember it with the old Pico 4 actually, is when you move your head, sometimes the picture kind of almost slightly moves with you, ever so slightly. There's not much in it, but looking at the keys and stuff, it can kind of put you off. And I imagine if you were trying to use it for um, like spatial computing and using it like that, then it possibly could make you feel sick after a while if you're using it because of the movement there. Um, that doesn't happen on the Quest, but the Quest, I noticed the keys were slightly different. It didn't look quite the same, so they're almost again not wobbly. Like say wobbly makes it sound terrible. They're not wobbly, but they weren't quite right either. So for me, neither one using them for kind of spatial computing and stuff like that. They're not really the devices to be doing that for. It's more of a gimmick, in my opinion, at the moment. I think headsets will eventually get there. Neither of these are quite there. Um, so now to the microphone. Um, the microphones, I did a side by side comparison, which I'll play now, I think. Okay, so this is me doing a quick mic test on the Pico 4 Ultra. I'm using Virtual Desktop and I am recording the sound using OBS. Okay, I am on the Meta Quest 3 doing a mic test for the side-by-side comparison between the Meta Quest 3 and the Pico 4 Ultra. I am using Virtual Desktop and OBS to record the mic. There's not an awful lot of difference between the two, although there is supposed to be 4 microphones on the Pico compared to the one on the Quest. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is clearer on the Pico for sure, but again, not a massive jump, but it is better. So that's probably another win in the on the Pico side of things. Now I also played Population 1, which is my kind of go-to game. Um, for the Quest or for VR in general. I play a lot of it, probably too much of that and not enough of everything else. Now, so that was the obvious one to play on the Pico. Now I was using PC VR, again because that's what I do on the Quest, and I wanted to give it a good kind of fair kind of side by side comparison. Now unfortunately I don't have Wi-Fi 7. It would have been great to have been able to try that out, but I don't have Wi-Fi 7. It's very new and costs a fortune, so I've only got Wi-Fi 6E. I say only, that's quite good, but so unfortunately I can't give an opinion on the Wi-Fi 7, which is sad because that would have been nice to have seen that. But playing Population 1, I noticed straight away the audio on the Pico 4, it sounded a bit more kind of distant, a little bit more washed out. I prefer the audio on the Quest. That's perhaps just personal preference or something you get used to, but I thought that the audio sounded a bit more distant on the Pico. So didn't really like that as much. I was surprised by the colours now because with the Pico 4, the original one, the colours were a bit washed out on that, and that took some getting used to. It was still a lot better than the Quest 2 at the time, overall. I love my Pico 4, the original one, compared to Quest 2. It was an obvious win in my book. This one, yeah, the colours are a lot better. Now, that might be the same for the original Pico 4 now. They might have done a few updates and it might be exactly the same. I've not used one for a long time now, so I can't say. But certainly, I was expecting the colours to be washed out on the Ultra. They weren't at all, they were quite vibrant. So that was a pleasant surprise there. But you could still, yeah, like the sweet spot was still noticeable. You've still got glare on this one, so you get glare on the Quest. There still is glare on both headsets, but the Pico lenses do suffer with more glare for sure, and that was noticeable. Like when the game was loading up, when you've got if you've played Population 1 right at the beginning, it's got like a black screen and like a dial and a number, where you can kind of see it on the black screen and things like that. But yeah, that overall it didn't feel, definitely the Quest. It's hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what it was, but the Quest definitely had the overall kind of visuals and sound, the kind of feeling more in the game with the Quest compared to the Pico. It felt a little bit removed on this. It wasn't quite right. Using the controllers was fine. Obviously, that's a lot different, or well, I say a lot different. They're not massively different to the Quest, but they are enough that you can feel that you're using something different. Would take a bit of getting used to if you haven't used them before. Um, but there was nothing wrong with them. They were fine. The rumble's quite strong on the Pico 4 Ultra. It's more noticeable rumble, which I quite like actually. I like that being strong. I don't know whether you can turn the strength up and down on either of them. I don't think you can, but the Pico 4 had the better rumble in my opinion than the Quest, but that might also be at a cost of battery life. I haven't used it long enough obviously for the batteries to drain out. I know with the Pico 4 they were pretty good for the controllers, the batteries, but they do take two AAs in each. Yeah, so rumble, the triggers, everything else felt fine. Um, Nothing bad, negative, but nothing massively positive either, apart from, like I say, the rumble. So that's probably about it for now. So between the two, I would say if you're a Quest 3 owner, there's no need to sell your headset. You're not missing out on anything over the Ultra. The Ultra does have a few advantages, but it has a few disadvantages as well. And for me personally, you want your headset to be visually as good as it can get. And visually, unfortunately, because they've chosen the old lenses, it's not visually as good as the Quest 3. So that's a bit sad. It is an Android based system and it's very open, so you can load APKs and stuff. Everything's really simple on there. Plugging this into the PC, it works just straight away. You don't have all these annoying pop ups where you need to allow and blah blah blah. Just plug it in straight away, drag and drop videos back and forwards. There was no mucking around. Like I say, you can load all kinds of APKs and stuff onto this. It's a very open kind of system. If you like that type of stuff, then it might be for you. Um, that's probably about it for now. I can't think of anything else massive. I'll probably kick myself because I will think of something later. But overall, like I say, I wouldn't sell my Quest for it. My Quest is still my daily driver by far. Um, there are some really nice things. I really wish this Quest had the form factor of the Pico. Oh, battery life. There was something there. I'm glad I was waffling on there for a minute. Right, battery life. Okay, again, perhaps it didn't have a full charge, although it did. The charge light went green to say that it was full, and it said 100%. But in using this, by the time I finished using it, the battery was down to 66%, really, really quickly. I played a few games, I did some recordings, mixed reality, which I know definitely is supposed to drain the battery. But that was quick. That was super, super quick for it to go down to 66%. I remember with the Quest 3 before I had the external battery as well, the secondary one. The battery was quite quick to drain on that. So I don't know, difference like for like if there's much difference, but with this Pico 4 Ultra, there's no you've got your battery pack like that. So if you want like an additional battery, which I think they do, but it's like a Bobo VR or whatever, you got a clip on top. And I've read that the clips for the Bobo VR battery attachment don't quite work because Pico have ever so slightly changed this attachment or something. There was something like that I read. So no doubt Bobo will sort something out for that. But yeah, there's no easy workaround for the battery solution. So again, I think as time goes on and more Pico 4 Ultra reviews come out, that's probably something that will be highlighted, which is the battery, because I think from my usage that it seemed to drain quite quickly. Um, I must say that I haven't. Obviously, I received it recently. I haven't given it like weeks and weeks and weeks of play games. So this is only kind of very first impressions. So I've got to be fair and say that because things might change. So these, and again, these are only my opinions as well. It's what I've noticed. So I hope it's been quite useful to anyone who is thinking about buying one. I don't hate it, and I think. There may well be people out there that would prefer this. Price wise, it's priced slightly higher than the Quest 3 with a smaller memory storage size, but this has got two. I think I can't remember now. What does it say on the box? Sorry, it's been a long day. 128. No, sorry, I'm lying to you. 256 gigabyte is the memory on this one. So it sits in between the two Quest ones. So price wise, it's probably priced about right. The Quest 3S is just about to be officially announced, or everyone knows about it because of all the leaks. And that price point on that, if you believe the Amazon leak, is extremely low. So, but that has got the old school lenses like the Quest 2. So this has got better lenses than the Quest 3S has, as far as we know, if the leaks are right. So this has got better lenses, same chipset and everything. So it's interesting to see. Like it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. But unfortunately, I don't think the Ultra is going to sell brilliantly. I think if they put a display port on it, that would have helped. I think there's the HTC Vive. Can't remember not Pro, something or the other. A brand new one that's just been announced as well, and that has got a display port on it. But again, it's got the old school lenses like the Quest 2. So I don't know, all these VR companies that are releasing these new headsets, and they're almost there. They've all got this like certain things bang on, and then they fail with something else. So they need to kind of merge them all together and just do one super headset. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. I hope this video has been useful to some people. The subscribers at the moment, we've got about 550 odd. We've got a goal of 1,000 subscribers. So if you watch this and you like my content, please do support the channel by hitting that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, then thank you very much. Please put your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think of the video or any future videos you want me to do. I do a lot of gameplay videos, so if there's any new games and suggest those, please let me know. Please also give us a like and a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Have a good day.